telling you, you have mastered this art of creating the village around you with these two young people. Are they looking for a Smurfette or a Smurf?
You talking about
The kitties.
here? They're looking for something that's not blue.
All right, let's get into something that fans have questioned for years. How is it that Rihanna and Beyoncé, two of the most iconic, powerful women in the music world, have never made a song together? Seriously, not even one collab. That doesn't make any sense, right? Especially when you remember that Rihanna was discovered and signed by Jay-Z. He gave her a platform. He was her mentor. And Beyoncé was right there the entire time. They were always around each other, same label, same industry circles, same events. So, what happened? How did we go from Rihanna admiring Beyoncé, calling her an inspiration, and even keeping a handwritten note from her, to the two completely acting like they don't exist in each other's world? Well, the truth might be way deeper than we thought.
What's happened to you is kind of a whirlwind. How are you feeling about your second single coming out before your album even drops?
I am so happy about that because, you know, people could get confused about Plenty Relive being so big and thinking I'm a one-hit wonder, and it's so glad that we get the opportunity to show them that that's not what we're about. We're about making and selling albums and developing a real artist here, so I'm glad about it.
According to resurfaced reports and stories, whispered behind the scenes for years, this isn't just about two superstars not clicking. This could be about power, silence, and maybe even betrayal. Let's rewind. In the beginning, Rihanna genuinely looked up to Beyoncé. She said it in interviews. She talked about how much she admired her stage presence and confidence. She even gushed over a note Beyoncé gave her, which had Beyoncé's autograph.
Very surreal. And it's been 25 years of just working really hard and trying my best to keep growing and keep opening up doors. So I'm just very honored, very honored.
That note meant the world to her. Rihanna saw her like a big sister in the industry, someone to learn from. At first, Beyoncé seemed to return that energy. She gave Rihanna advice, encouraged her to loosen up on stage, and told her to take charge of her image. But all that warm mentorship faded fast. As Rihanna's fame started to rise, something changed. Suddenly, there were no more shoutouts, no more love, no features, no joint appearances that felt real. It was like Beyoncé backed away quietly. And that makes you wonder what went wrong? Some insiders claim the tension wasn't just about stardom or chart positions. They say Rihanna made a choice that put her on the outside, and Beyoncé may have been part of the very thing Rihanna rejected.
We don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door.
Oh, then he said, he said it one word.
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
See, Rihanna's early days at Roc Nation weren't all smooth sailing. Yes, Jay-Z was the one who signed her, but according to claims that have been floating around for a while, his interest in her might not have been completely professional. One story says that Jay-Z pressured Rihanna to sign with him in a very disturbing way. Allegedly, he locked her in an office on the 29th floor and told her she could either walk out with a contract or out the window. Yes, out the window. That's a terrifying thing to say to a teenage girl trying to start her career. That's not mentorship. That's control. Now imagine being 17 in a new country, away from family, and hearing something like that from a music mogul. If that story is true, Rihanna was trapped in more ways than one. And when she tried to reach out for help, reportedly, she turned to the one woman she thought would understand Beyoncé. But instead of support, she got silence. Rihanna expected compassion. Instead, she says Beyoncé distanced herself. No protection, no comfort, no sisterhood. Now, let's pause and think. We all know Rihanna isn't afraid to stand up for herself. She doesn't hold back. So, when she started stepping back from the music world, canceling shows, taking long breaks, and focusing on her Fenty brand, it might not have been just about fashion or makeup. It might have been her way of escaping a toxic scene. Then, there's that infamous story from the reality show Making the Band. You know, the one where Diddy made the contestants walk hours to get him a slice of cheesecake? People laughed at that clip for years. But guess what? One of the contestants, Freddie P., recently claimed that cheesecake wasn't even for Diddy. He said it was for Beyoncé. Yup, according to him, Beyoncé was upstairs while Diddy humiliated young men on national TV, and she allegedly sat back and ate the cake they walked miles to get her. It sounds ridiculous, but the timeline matches up. Beyoncé and Diddy were close during that era. Freddie even recalled Diddy saying, "Take that upstairs to Beyoncé." If that's true, we need to ask, why was she part of that scene? Why did she stay quiet if she saw people being treated like that just to impress her? This leads us into even darker territory. Remember those disturbing rumors about Diddy's private parties? Several industry voices, including Jaguar Wright, have spoken about them, claiming they were more than just wild celebrity events. According to multiple sources, these gatherings involved powerful figures, hand-picked guests, private rooms, and very specific activities happening behind closed doors. One rapper who recently spoke up is DaBaby. He described an eerie moment at one of Diddy's private house parties in LA in early 2020. According to him, the party went into the early morning hours. Then, around 3 a.m., Diddy cleared out most of the guests, but kept a select group of around 15 people. DaBaby was one of them. He says Beyoncé walked up to him, introduced herself, which struck him as strange. Because, let's be honest, Beyoncé doesn't need to introduce herself to anyone. So why approach him like that at that hour? Jaguar Wright believes that moment wasn't innocent. She described it as the start of a setup, saying Beyoncé was allegedly trying to pull him into something more private and questionable. Something that wasn't about music or fame, but about power and control behind the scenes. And here's where it ties back to Rihanna. Imagine being 17, attending these kinds of gatherings, seeing the pressure and the manipulation, and deciding you want no part of it. That's exactly what some believe Rihanna did. She saw what was happening, said no, and pulled back. But saying no in this business often comes with consequences. Let's talk about Rihanna's album ANTI. When that project dropped, it was praised by critics and fans. But the rollout was a complete mess. The album leaked early on Tidal, which Jay-Z co-owned at the time. That leak forced Rihanna to rush the release. And not long after, Beyoncé's Lemonade was announced with a full promotional campaign, visuals, and major support. Fans noticed the contrast. Rihanna's rollout was quiet and scattered. Beyoncé's was polished and powerful. And here's the kicker, both of them were at the Tidal press event, standing on the same stage. But did they speak? Did they even acknowledge each other? No, they stayed far apart like total strangers. That wasn't a coincidence. According to people who were there, the event was staged that way on purpose. Every photo, every position on stage was planned so Beyoncé and Rihanna didn't cross paths. Not even once. That wasn't sisterhood. That was division. After ANTI, Rihanna was done. No more albums. No more tours. She dove into building her brand, launching Fenty Beauty, Fenty Skin, Savage X Fenty, and she became a billionaire. All without the music industry's games. She chose freedom, not fame. And can you blame her? If you were in her shoes, if you had witnessed shady behavior, experienced pressure from music executives, been ignored by women you trusted, and then watched your hard work get overshadowed, you'd walk away too. She didn't just choose business, she chose peace. But if you still think Beyoncé and Jay-Z had nothing to do with this, let's go back again to that moment Rihanna first auditioned for Jay. According to her own words, it was a high-pressure meeting. She was just a teenager. And what does Jay allegedly say? There are two ways out of this room, through the door with a signed deal, or through the window. And remember, they were on the 29th floor. That's not just intimidation, that's psychological control. That's someone using power to scare a young girl into saying yes. And when you understand that, Rihanna's distance from both Beyoncé and Jay-Z starts to make a lot more sense. So now we have to ask, was Rihanna being messy? Or was she finally done keeping quiet? Done protecting people who didn't protect her? When you line up the stories, the private parties, the sudden silence, the shady leaks, the way her music career stalled, it looks less like a coincidence and more like a decision. A decision to walk away from a toxic system. So what does this mean for Beyoncé? Well, some people believe she's been protected for years by powerful allies in the music world. But protection doesn't always mean innocence. Staying silent when others are hurt, standing by when people are pressured or mistreated, that's not empowerment. That's complicity. If these claims are true, Beyoncé may not be the image of sisterhood and strength that fans have always believed. And Rihanna? She might be the one who finally saw through the illusion and refused to play the game. And when you look at how things have unfolded, it's clear who won. Rihanna walked away from the machine, built her empire from scratch, and became a self-made billionaire. She turned her pain into power, her silence into success. So now we're left with a few important questions. Was Beyoncé just looking out for herself all these years? Did she stand by while people around her were hurt just to protect her position? Did she turn her back on Rihanna when she needed her the most? And most of all, was Rihanna's entire career shifted because she refused to participate in what went on behind the scenes? Let's be clear. These are allegations. These are stories told by people who say they saw things firsthand, but none of it has been confirmed officially. Still, when stories start lining up and multiple voices start telling the same version from different angles, you have to ask, is there truth behind the whispers? What do you think? Did Rihanna walk away because of what she experienced? Is Beyoncé really the queen we thought she was, or just another player in a game she helped keep going? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the next video right here, where we go even deeper into celebrity secrets and power moves that are finally coming to light. You don't want to miss it.